MacVoices is supported by ExpressVPN. Secure your surfing at expressvpn.com/MacVoices. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, it's been a while since we've talked to Gregorio Zanon of iMazing about iMazing, and we're going to fix that right now. Gregorio, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for being here.
Hi, Chuck. It's really nice to be here as well.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you again because iMazing is such an amazing program. Sorry. But you all have just released a new update that makes it even more impressive and more interesting for folks who are looking to get information off of their iPhones.
Yes, that's correct. We just released last week iMazing 2.9. And it's quite a special update because it's really focused on improving iMazing's capabilities when it comes to extracting messaging data. So from the Messages app and now from WhatsApp as well. And in general, I got in touch with you because I thought it's a fascinating subject, not just to boast about iMazing, but the subject of transforming messaging data into actionable data is fascinating, and there's just so much communications that are done these days via instant messaging that it's become very important. How do you get the data out of your phone? How do you put it into a spreadsheet? How do you print it? And then many use cases for that kind of capability.
It was interesting that you did contact me when you did, because I heard on another podcast a question raised about the ability to archive messages or backup messages, and or iMessages, I should say, in the Messages app. And there doesn't seem to be a really great solution out there right now, at least that came up immediately. Your second point is so well taken. That I personally am finding that text messages are becoming at least as important as email in business, because they are they're instant, and they sit there and just demand attention as opposed to getting stuck in all the spam that comes in everybody's email. So this seems like such a very timely feature that a lot of people are going to be interested in.
Mm-hmm. So it's something we've had for a while. iMazing has been well known in that regard for some years already. But the big difference today is that we really listened to our community of users, and we had to rewrite the whole engine from the ground up so that we're able to display messages much faster than before. Because when we first implemented that feature, people had a couple thousand messages, maybe 5,000, or some users up to 10,000. But today it's not infrequent to see users with 180,000 messages, or even 1 million messages. It does happen. And among these messages, you'll have 30 gigabytes of pictures. And we had to completely rewrite and rethink our approach to how do we load that much data? How do we display it? So you won't see so much changed in iMazing's UI, but in fact, it loads about 100 times faster than it used to. And the export capabilities are 100 times more powerful, especially the export to PDF feature. Because you were talking about archiving messages. Well, if you use the Messages app, first of all, which is only available on the Mac, then you can only print what's on screen and what's loaded already. If you want to print a long conversation, you'll have to scroll back all the way back, and it will take a really long time. And also, the Messages app will not show you all your messaging history. It will only show you iMessage, and if you were close to your computer at the time, SMS as well. So it may omit some messages as well, which is frankly not ideal. The approach we take in iMazing, we can't send messages, but what we can do is from a backup of your device, which you can do in iMazing as well, extract everything in one go. So we're able to print to PDF your entire messaging history in one go. Everything, absolutely everything you've ever sent that's still on your phone can be outputted in split PDF files, and that's it. That's archived. It's there forever. You can just start over again if you want.
Which may be good news for some people and maybe not so good news for others, depending on what's in those messages.
Sure.
Perhaps we shouldn't go there.
Well, normally, your backup should be protected by a backup password, and the link between the computer and the phone is protected by the phone's passcode. And then, if you're security conscious, you should, of course, enable file vault on your Mac. So you have three different layers of security at play: backup encryption, file vault, and the passcode. So, of course, there's always potential for abuse. But it's a dilemma. If you overprotect data, then you cannot do anything with it. And we feel that three layers of protection. If you're aware and you know what you're doing, it should be absolutely enough.
Yeah, and I guess I was just referring to the idea that sometimes text messages get sent in the heat of the moment or whatever, and now there's a record. But on the other hand, those messages, one way or another, could be accessed if someone got access to the phone. So it's not different. This just changes a little bit.
Of course, and it's messages that you've received as well. So the person who sent them may not be aware that it is possible for you to output that content, to print it, and to use it. More and more people are aware of that, but it's true that it's one of the main use of iMazing is actually in court to provide supporting evidence for harassment cases, custody cases as well. We see that quite a lot.
That's interesting. Have you been contacted by law enforcement for that purpose?
Law enforcement contacts us for forensics purposes, not for printing out evidence. Printing out evidence, it will either be lawyers or clients. I mean, the victims or the plaintiffs of court cases, during court cases.
Interesting.
But law enforcement has less need to print out a PDF and more need to export to CSV so that they can import the data in a spreadsheet, conduct some extra analysis on it. But it's not the main purpose of iMazing. It's something that is a byproduct of what we do. For example, the export to CSV feature of messages is very useful if you're a professional and you're billing your communications with your clients, like lawyers do. Well, now they're not billing only the phone communications. They also bill emails and messages. So with the export to CSV feature, they just use iMazing to export the call history and the message history, and that gives them a very accurate way to bill a client.
And so that's what you meant by when you said earlier about exporting this into actionable data is the CSV export.
Absolutely. The CSV gives you, data you can import in Excel, in Numbers, in Google Sheets, and that you can, actually use for analysis.
Today's MacVoices is supported by ExpressVPN. Another day, another data breach. It seems like everything you do online, from making a simple online purchase to checking your email, puts your private information at risk. Products you looked at on one website follow you around the web like a bloodhound. In the world of social media, marketing companies, and even your own internet provider tracking you and your activities are the products that they sell to others. That's why you need to take back your privacy with ExpressVPN. With easy-to-use apps that run seamlessly in the background on your computer, iPhone, and iPad, ExpressVPN protects you with just one click and no compromises in speed or service. ExpressVPN secures and anonymizes your browsing by encrypting your data and hiding your public IP address. You might be sitting in New York, but to the outside world, you're surfing from Los Angeles, or Paris, or Hong Kong, or many other cities. Your choice. All that protection comes at less than $7 per month with the #1 rated VPN service by TechRadar, and it also comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Even better, by visiting expressvpn.com/MacVoices right now, you can get 3 months free with a 1-year package. You've been thinking about a VPN. Now's the time to do something about it. Take back your internet privacy today and find out how you can get 3 months free by visiting expressvpn.com/MacVoices. Thanks to ExpressVPN for their support of MacVoices.
So you also, I did want to go back to one thing. I want to be clear on this. If I have run an iMazing backup and archived it, that means now that with the new version of iMazing, I can go back and pull messages or whatever out of that backup? I'm not pulling out of my phone necessarily. I can pull it from existing backups.
Your all the message history, both of the Messages app and of WhatsApp, can only be accessed via a backup. You cannot pull it directly from the phone. It's just not possible. Thankfully, iOS will not allow that. That's a measure of security, so that it may be protected by a backup password. That's the idea, that you can't just pull messaging data out of the phone.
Got it. So another interesting thing, though, is now you're supporting this for WhatsApp. Yeah. And WhatsApp has become a standard, it seems, in chat applications. How much of a challenge was that to get that functionality?
It's not such a huge challenge per se. The database is quite simple to read. The challenge was to support it well, to include all the little group message notifications. So, for example, this person joined the group, this person left, this person banned this person from the group, all that kind of little metadata messaging data. That was quite tough to do accurately. And then the big challenge was to rewrite the whole engine, message loading and displaying engine from the ground up. That was the challenge. Then WhatsApp or Messages, it's somewhat similar, and it's not the roughest part of the job.
And I assume that's met with some positive feedback. It probably was something that was requested pretty heavily in the past.
WhatsApp was one of the number one requests from our users. It took us so long to do it because we knew we had to do that rewrite. That's why it took us a few months to really just dig in and rethink the whole feature. Then the export to PDF was extremely in very high demand as well. We already had it, but going through third-party libraries that were not functioning really well in all cases, and we were not happy of what we had. Today, what we have is really functional. You can select all your conversations, export. You have lots of options, and you will get 250 PDF files outputted, one per conversation, or one big PDF with everything. It's up to you.
I love this, the fact that you're saying that this was a requested, or these were requested features. This is why folks should write to their software developers and say, this would be really great if it did this, because that's what you use to determine what you're going to be working on next, and try to give users what they want.
So for us, it's incredibly important. I still myself do some customer support work, both to train new agents and just to get a feeling of what is the reaction users are having to iMazing these days. And we do collect feedback, read every piece of feedback. We have a huge spreadsheet where we reference all the requests, how many times they were requested, if we're likely to do it or not. And so it is definitely worth it to write to developers. We are very easy to find via Facebook or Twitter, and imazing.com/contact. That's for us. Now, I can't vouch for other developers. Of course, if you write to Microsoft or to Apple, the chances that Tim Cook will read your feedback are pretty slim. But well, we're about 500,000 times smaller, so yes, probably I will read your message if you have a request to make.
Yeah, it's easy. I mean, I've contacted plenty of companies for some assistance with software or hardware issues, and it's real easy to just, okay, I've got my problem solved, or I didn't get it solved, and at the end of the survey or the online interaction, give us your feedback. What do you think? And it's so easy to skip over that because you're sort of in the moment with your problem. But it really is important if you want to see a particular program or product develop and continue, because you can have a say in it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely true.
So we sort of dove in here, and I want to make sure that I give you a chance to talk about everything that iMazing can do. We've focused sort of on the messages here, the new part, but iMazing can do so many things. It's one of those utilities that anyone with an iPhone or an iPad should not be without.
Well, we hope that as many people as possible will share your opinion, of course. But iMazing is not just a tool to extract data from the phone. It's also a backup tool that lets you back up your iPhone to your computer or to any storage location of your choice. It can be an external drive, it can be a network drive, and it has this little menu bar app called iMazing Mini, which runs in the background. It will back up your phone every day or every week, depending on your settings. That's a very convenient way to have a local backup. And why would you want a local backup instead of just the iCloud one? Well, the reason is that the data, again, is actionable. It's in your hands. You can get to it. You can recover quickly something from it if you lose your phone. It's about owning your data and keeping it close at hand. Then besides messages, what we try to do is provide views and export formats for all the main types of data. So it will be for notes, for calendars, for Safari bookmarks and history, for photos, for what else we have, call history, voicemail, just about everything. We try to give tools that really are the Swiss Army knife of iPhone management.
This is not something I'd planned to ask, but and I have not tried it. I've never even thought about needing to. And I guess that's an advertisement for Apple and the iPhone. Is it possible, though, to restore information to a phone with iMazing from one of those backups?
Sure. So the backup format is not ours. It's the iOS backup format. iOS actually builds the backup. All iMazing does is store the backup and then version it so that you may time machine style go back in time. This iOS doesn't offer and iTunes doesn't offer. That's the layer we add. And then we add all the parsing of the backup and the fact that we can display its contents. It's not just a black box. It's something that you can dig into. So yes, the iOS backup format is meant to be restorable, of course.
And when we're talking about backups here, we're talking, well, you can choose what you want to back up, but you can pretty much get everything off your phone.
You can't choose what you back up. The backup is a complete backup. There's no way to tell iOS only back up this or that. So you have really two channels. One is the backup. You tell the iOS device, now please make a backup here, and then everything happens. The entire device is backed up. Excuse me. Or you can go into the parts of the file system which are directly accessible, and that's only photos and the media library, music, podcasts, and videos. You can go in there and extract the files directly. All the rest, the messages, the notes, the contacts, are not directly accessible at all.
And again, this is one of those things, if you value the information on your phone, which you should, it's great that you have the iCloud backup. But as anyone who's listened to this show knows, if you don't have backups existing in at least three places, and you could be in a situation where you can't restore from iCloud, or if for some reason iCloud should be down and you really need that data.
Yeah.
You want to get this off, get it on your Mac and archive it on a home server or something of that nature so that it is safe and secure.
There really is no reason not to do both. What really I don't understand these days is how iTunes presents it as a binary choice. In iTunes, you can either back up to iCloud or to this computer. And the UI just presents it as a binary choice, but it's not at all. You can back up to iCloud and have a backup on your computer or on multiple computers. It's really up to the user, but iTunes doesn't make that clear at all.
No, you're right. You're right. It's very easy to get confused. Well, after all this, then we need to tell folks where to go get iMazing, how much it is, how that all works.
We're available on iMazing.com. iMazing is written just like you would, imazing.com. And you can download iMazing for free and just try it for yourself before you buy. There's a lot in there which is completely free to use, including backing up and browsing your data. It's only when you want to export data that you will need a license. But you can browse all you want and back up all you want and connect as many devices as you want to iMazing. So we really encourage you to just give it a go. We're not the only software of this kind, but yeah, we feel that we've made some huge progress. And in terms of the quality of our handling of messages, this last update, I'm absolutely positive, it sets a new standard in terms of quality and attention to details.
So it's a huge service to the community that you offer this and let me back up my iPhone for free. Why would you do that?
Well, iTunes lets you back up for free, so we feel that it should be free in iMazing as well. And the other reason is that if you want to preview your data, you'll need a backup anyway. So yeah, we what we see from users is that if they like the app, they'll buy it, even if what they value most in the app is completely free. For example, you can synchronize music to your phone for free. You can add photos to your phone for free. You can set ringtones. You can do a lot of things for free. And some people will buy iMazing nevertheless, even if they never use the paid features. Just, I don't know, fundamentally, if you're honest with your customers, it looks like customers are honest with you as well. There's something, I don't know, that seems to work very well when you actually are upfront about what is free, what is not. When you launch iMazing, you'll see a whole list of the free features and what's paid. No tricks. It's very clean, very Swiss, and yeah, that really works very well for us.
I think you said a mouthful there when you said if you're honest with your customers, they'll be honest with you. That goes back to something Steve Jobs said about people wanting to pay for their music, but they want to pay for it in the right fashion, the way they want to use it. And so I think that's great that you do this, because it truly is a service. Because there are a lot of folks that don't completely understand, as you said, the binary choice that iTunes appears to give. And the fact that, okay, it's in the cloud, that's great, but there are times that I might be more comfortable having a local backup.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. And the iCloud backup has some problems as well. I just had my mother the other day restoring her iCloud backup to a new phone to migrate her data. And some things just didn't transfer because she wasn't aware that the backup wasn't that fresh, because she has a spotty internet where she lives in the countryside, and nothing told her that the backup was old. She did it by putting the two phones side to side and doing the automatic transfer option, and she ended up restoring a backup that wasn't really up to date, and she didn't realize until later. And well, maybe I should have used iMazing. Of course, she should have.
Did you do an I told you so?
No, I didn't dare.
Yeah.
I will next time, though.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, you should have learned the lesson the first time. First time, it's easy to make the mistake. Second time, no reason. Yeah. Will we see you and the iMazing team at WWDC this year?
Sure. It'll be just a few of us, 2 or 3, the core dev team, and we'll have a blast there. It's always so interesting to meet other developers and to be in that rush of such an important moment in the year for the Apple community. So we're looking forward to that very much.
Yeah, it's having now been to several. It's an aspect of the Apple community that doesn't always, I think, get recognized or get. I mean, we all know developers are critical, obviously, but I don't think that folks realize that there's a developer culture out there that supports the Apple culture, the user culture. And that's why I love to come talk to as many developers as I can and sort of shed a little bit of light on that, because I think it is very, very important to understand just how everything works and how it all fits together. And I'm delighted you and the team will be there again.
Sure, it'll be really nice to see you. Will you be at AltConf again?
That is my plan. That is my plan.
Perfect. I know where to find you.
Yes, you find me in their exhibit area or hallway or wherever they're allowing vendors to set up. I'll be there, and hopefully we'll get to talk about what's new with iMazing at that point, or what your reaction is to the announcements.
We have plenty of new things coming, and we're super excited about the announcements that will be made this WWDC, especially because all the convergence of macOS and iOS apps, how that will turn out, how far they'll go, that we find particularly fascinating. Yeah, it'll be a great year.
Well, I look forward to seeing you there, and thanks so much for the time being here this time around. Anytime there are updates, please let us know. You're always welcome.
Thank you so much, Chuck.
Thank you. Folks, I'm Chuck Joyner. This is MacVoices. If you haven't tried out iMazing, go and get it. As Gregorio said, its core functions are free, and that just means it's one more level of security you have for your data, and you know how important that is to us here at MacVoices. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching.
Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our MacVoices Facebook group, and get more out of your Apple Tech with MacVoices magazine, free on Flipboard. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us at patreon.com/MacVoices, and join these folks who help keep MacVoices coming to you. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.